It's so many teams, you're going to see all new faces, but these guys, you either coached or coached against these guys for a couple of years. So can you give us?
Well, I just coached the one, didn't I?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Bryce.
you coached again. I mean, they're returning them.
Yeah, they do. They, you take Kate out of the equation. I think it's basically the same team, and you had Bryce, you had Cisse, and you had a couple more. So it's, you lose the number one pick in the draft. I mean, so obviously you don't replace him with one person, but they've replaced him with a group, and they've been, they've been, had some unfortune, in that they haven't had all their team together, all the time. And of course, that it's hard to get rhythm when that's the case, but we expect to, I guess they're COVID clear, and we expect them to come out in great energy, and they hadn't played in about 2 weeks. And so you could say, could that be an advantage to us? Or you could say, well, they'll be more turned up than they've ever been because they're so excited to play. So, and plus it's a first conference game. So it'll be they'll play athletic. I do believe that. I think they're very athletic.
You've seen Likely so many times last year, of course, he gets the big shot after he wasn't making shots, but he's a physical kid, right?
Oh yeah, he's probably as physical a guard as there is in America. I don't know, I don't know exactly his measurements, but it's got to be 6'2"-ish and in that 225-pound range or whatever. I mean, he's a load. Looks like a fullback or a linebacker. To be honest with you. So, and we've gone against him a lot, and there's a couple of schools of thought on it, but the one thing that a lot of people do is they kind of back off, and you back off, you let him get ahead of steam because he's really good at going downhill. And so, I don't know that that's the best way to do it. So, but I think he's a good all around player. Kind of like a Marcus Garrett was for us last year. Not great. Unfortunately, we only practiced for 30 minutes yesterday, and he couldn't go. So today we'll probably determine a lot if he's able to play tomorrow. And we're all hopeful that he is, because I think that when you play against an athletic, fast team, especially one that's so good in transition, as evidenced, I think they got 36 transition points against us at their place last year, which is a total embarrassment. And that's coaching more than anything else. And them being good. We need as much quickness as we can have out there, and Bobby being out and obviously Remy being laid up. I didn't think we looked near as quick on Saturday as what we had in prior games.
You talked about Mitch playing more. Can you just give a big picture of what you see from the 5 position?
Well, Mitch is going to start. So from a big picture standpoint, you think, we can get 20 points and, 12 rebounds out of that spot, something like that. The biggest thing that bothers me is in the game against George Mason. I mean, 2 big guys combined for 1 defensive rebound. I mean, Ochai and CB should not be our leading rebounders, even though, it's nice when you have wings that can go get it. But Mitch got 1, and that was it the other day. Of course, David got 4 offensive rebounds, but we got to control the defensive glass better. I don't think our big guys have to score a ton. I think they have to be efficient when they get touches, and I think Mitch has been more efficient when he's gotten touches. Mitch ain't gonna get 7 shots every game, but whatever he gets, if he positions himself right and we do a good job, I think he can put himself in position to be a good scorer for us. And I think the same thing with David, but this maybe will give David a chance to watch from the bench to start out and hopefully perform better when he gets in there.
You mentioned a hard decision to do that.
You know what? You guys think decisions like that are harder than what I do. I think the harder decision is who you have in at the end of the game rather than who you have in to start the game. This is how we should look at basketball, in my opinion. In the first 5 minutes of the game, you can make mistakes, you can do whatever, but there's plenty of time to recover. In the last 5 minutes of the game, everything's magnified because there's no time to recover. And so who you start, you guys think is a bigger deal than I do. But I do think there's something that guys get a rhythm and certainly kind of know what to expect when they are out there or when they're not out there. But we're going to try something different because, let's just, call it like it is. I love David McCormick. We will not be a terrific team this year unless he performs well. That's the bottom line. We got to do some things to help him perform better. That's it. It's not punishment. We got to do some things to help him perform better. And it hasn't really worked of late. Mitch has been so good with energy off the bench and playing well off the bench. I don't know if that's best for us to put him in a different role, but I think it's something that's worth trying because we haven't really got off to great starts with our 5 position.
Do you anticipate Dave being good off the bench?
I anticipate David playing well. Yeah. I do. Of course, I anticipate him playing well all the time. He's too good a player not to play well. But maybe this will take a little pressure off. That's it. And if he plays well and does what he's capable of doing, he'll move right back in there. But I think this is a good opportunity to give Mitch a shot, to see what he can do in that position. I mean, and let's call it like it is. 6 years, 5 years playing. I mean, the kid's done pretty much everything he's supposed to do for us, and he's not been a starter. And I remember telling Mitch when he was young, I said, what, if you stick around here long enough, I think you'll end up starting for us. Well, I kept my promise. Okay. So.
How did Dave react to this?
I told him it wasn't a one-on-one conversation. It was a conversation. And, the thing about it is, and I'll probably talk to him, one-on-one, but the thing about it is it's a team thing. I mean, you do what's best for the team. If something's not working, you don't need to candy coat it and say, and you can just be direct. And when somebody else isn't playing well, you certainly have no problem telling them that. And so it was just a direct deal with the team saying, hey, we're going to try something different. We're going to start Mitch. Mitch has played well. He's earned opportunity. And David, maybe this will give you a chance to come off the bench and have a little bit different perspective and maybe be a little bit more relaxed when you're out there. So that's all it was. You should look at minutes played more so than who starts.
Yeah, you said that the other day, right?
Yeah.
It's time to play Mitch more.
Yeah.
What do you think that means? He got 21 the other night.
Oh, I don't have any idea on the number. But you would think if he starts, he's probably going to play at least an opportunity to play quite a bit. So the other thing is Zach Clemens is too good a player to sit on the bench if the other guys aren't playing well. Now, if the other guys are playing well, he's a freshman, needs strength, but Zach's a good player. And so, I'll be honest. We've said all along, how do we get those guys more minutes? And maybe this is an opportunity to do that as well. So I'm not going into it thinking Mitch plays this, David plays that, whatever. I'm going into it thinking we got to start piecing that 5 spot together better, where we're getting that 20 and 12 night in and night out.
So after Bobby Steele, anything new COVID with you guys?
No, nothing. So we've been. That's as of this morning, but we've been certainly fortunate on that front.
AJ, I know you mentioned it on game nights, but when he's gotten in the halves lately,
He gives us energy.
yeah. Is there something about that spot, that position, the end of the half, or is it just?
No. I think it would be KJ if he got in at the 13-minute mark too.
Sure.
That's what I'm talking about. We're kind of betting on certain guys doing certain things, and so that eliminates minutes with KJ and with Zach. The thing about it is, you would think that with veterans that we would be old enough to know that, hey, okay, missed 3 shots or didn't play well, whatever, take him out, put him back in, all that stuff. Well, when you handle it that way, that keeps Zach and KJ on the bench. So maybe there needs to be some pressure on the older guys to produce when they're out there, and or we could go a different direction. But I'm hoping they play well. But I they're too good of players not to play them if the other guys aren't playing. Maybe we'll have a better feel for that moving forward.
Is there any uneasiness about the timing of this? I mean, you'd probably like to have it figured out by the start of conference.
About just who starting?
Yeah, trying to piece all that together.
We bet on David all along. We bet on David for the last. He started for us as a freshman after we had Doak went down. So David, we bet on him all last year, and he ends up averaging about 16-9 the last half of the Big 12 season. So we're not giving up on that. So, but I do know this: when he's good, he's better than anybody else when they're good. Okay, but when he's laboring a little bit, I do think those other guys are good enough. They can give us some more production.
Bobby, Zach, and KJ seem to show so much promise, even though they're not getting a lot of minutes. You're always so accurate in predicting the future of your guys. Let's talk about this freshman recruiting class and how you see them evolving moving forward.
Well, I thought going into the season and early on that Bobby had a chance to be the next really good one here. I still believe that, but you can't evaluate because of COVID, and he's hurt. So the injury set him back. I told Bobby, I said, you know what, if you're healthy, I think by February you could be a 15, 20-minute game guy. I really felt that. He hasn't been healthy though. So he hasn't got the minutes, or the reps that others have had. We're hoping we can get him back soon. And if we get him back soon, maybe by that mid-February, he can be that. KJ's never going to be a great scorer per se, but he finds a way to get his hands on balls and get the ball in the basket. I think he's a terrific player. I think he's the type of guy that every team needs. He's a Mark Vital type of player for us. And I thought he was terrific. And of course, I think Zach, I don't know this for a fact. He keeps developing, gets stronger. Could he be an all-league player? I think his upside's pretty high. But it's a really good recruiting class that I wouldn't consider exceptional when you look at, there's not NBA scouts saying this, and that about them yet, but they weren't about CB and they weren't about Hoach and Juan wasn't thought to be all this. Marcus wasn't thought to be all that, but they could be part of that, those type of guys. So I'm excited for them.
You factor in the fact that, you might have these guys 4 years and thus get a lot more production because of what you just said.
I think it's harder to factor that in now. You know what I think wins or what recruits is winning today. Seems like if you win today, it makes it easier on all fronts. So and with the portal now, the way I see things of, be patient. Somebody else may not see it quite that way. So we do recruit guys based on projecting, but also let's not get confused. You want to win today. And I think that's what recruits as much as anything else.
How much fun will seeing Bryce be and going against him?
Oh, I'm not sure it'll be any fun. That's just being candid. But yeah, I hope Bryce is. I believe he nicked his shoulder up, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope he's healthy. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And I'm sure that he'll do everything he can to be out there. And the thing that can. Bryce is obviously a part of it because he's a good athlete. They can come at you pretty fast. Last year they wore us out in transition, and we had to go triangle 2 to stay in the game, and then they kind of gave us a chance, and then we gave it away late. But I'm concerned about Bryce, but there's another kid named Bryce on that team too. Williams said that is capable of getting 20, and Anderson's capable of doing that. And I love Walker, and the Boone brothers are much improved, and then they got a big shot blocker. And then you got Likely as well. They got some nice pieces, and they're very athletic. And I think that'll be a big key for us is being able to play to their quickness. We need to be turned up because they made us look slow last year.
Anything else for Coach Baylor or anyone in big road game?
Huge, great win. Great win. Great game. I watched most of it. I thought Iowa State played great and Baylor still just poised and handled it. So, you know, one thing that Baylor has, I think, better than anybody in the league that I've seen so far is they got guys that can make shots. They got shot makers off the bounce that can go get their own at the end of the clock and stuff. And, you know, when you have a Kinjo and obviously Flagler and Cryer and, you know, those guys, I mean, and there's more. That's pretty impressive that they can make hard shots. They got a good team.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.